The strange thing about comfort zones is that they don't feel dangerous. They feel safe, warm, predictable, and that's why they destroy people slowly. Not in one dramatic moment, but quietly, one excuse at a time, one delayed dream at a time, one maybe next year at a time. You don't say it out loud, but you feel it. That heavy feeling when you realize your life has not changed in years. The same routines, the same fears, the same conversations in your head every night before you sleep. And the worst part, you've become so used to surviving that you forgot what it feels like to truly live. There was a man named Marcus, 32 years old, quiet, responsible, the kind of person everyone called stable. He had a decent job, a tiny apartment, a predictable life. Nothing looked wrong from the outside. But every morning, Marcus woke up already tired. Not physically, emotionally. His alarm rang at 6:00 a.m. every day. Same ringtone, same ceiling, same silent sigh before getting out of bed. He would stand in front of the mirror, brushing his teeth, staring at his own reflection like he was looking at a stranger. Sometimes he asked himself one question: is this really my life? Then he would laugh at himself, because deep down, he already knew the answer. At work, Marcus smiled when he needed to. He nodded during meetings, answered emails, made jokes, but inside, something was slowly dying. Not ambition, not intelligence, hope. That quiet hope people lose when they stay in one place too long. Years ago, Marcus wanted to build his own creative agency. He loved designing ideas, loved staying awake late at night sketching visions into notebooks. Back then, his eyes carried energy. Back then, he believed he could become someone. But life happened. Bills happened, fear happened, and slowly, comfort wrapped itself around him like a blanket, a dangerous blanket, because comfort does not scream. It whispers, "Stay here. You're safe here. Don't risk it. Don't embarrass yourself. Maybe later." And later became years. Marcus kept postponing his life while watching other people live theirs. Every night, he scrolled through social media, friends starting businesses, traveling, taking risks, failing, trying again, living. Meanwhile, Marcus stayed frozen, not because he was lazy, because he was afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of judgment, afraid of losing the little stability he had. But there was another fear he never admitted. He was afraid that maybe this was all he would ever become. And that thought haunted him. You don't say it, but you feel it. That silent panic when you realize time is moving faster than your courage. One evening, Marcus visited his older sister, Naomi. She lived in the same neighborhood where they grew up. Same streets, same small shops, same memories hanging in the air. The moment she opened the door, she noticed something. "You look exhausted," she said softly. "I'm fine," Marcus replied automatically. But people who truly love you can hear sadness hiding behind simple words. During dinner, Naomi watched him quietly. Then she asked a question that made his chest tighten. Are you actually happy? Marcus froze. Such a simple question, but it hit him harder than he expected, because he didn't know how to answer it. He changed the subject quickly, but that question followed him home. Are you happy? That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling thinking about how many years he had spent avoiding discomfort, avoiding risk, avoiding change. He realized something painful. His comfort zone was not protecting him anymore. It was imprisoning him. And prisons don't always have bars. Sometimes they have routines. Sometimes they have salaries. Sometimes they have excuses that sound reasonable. The next morning, Marcus noticed something strange on the train to work. Everyone looked emotionally drained, faces empty, eyes disconnected, people scrolling endlessly on their phones like they were trying to escape their own thoughts. For the first time, Marcus wondered how many people were secretly trapped in lives they no longer wanted. How many people sacrificed their dreams just to avoid uncertainty. How many people chose familiar misery over possible failure. That thought stayed with him all day. Weeks passed. Nothing changed immediately. That's the truth people don't tell you. Transformation rarely begins with confidence. It begins with discomfort, with honesty, with that painful moment when you can no longer lie to yourself. One rainy night, Marcus opened an old storage box hidden beneath his bed. Inside were notebooks filled with designs he had created years ago. Sketches, ideas, business plans, dreams. He sat on the floor, flipping through pages with trembling hands. And suddenly he felt grief. Real grief. Not for another person. For himself. For the version of himself he abandoned. For the years fear had stolen from him. He realized something heartbreaking. The longer you stay inside your comfort zone, the smaller your world becomes. You stop trying, stop exploring, stop believing, until eventually you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Marcus sat there for hours. No music, no distractions, just silence. And for the first time in years, he allowed himself to admit the truth. He was unhappy, not because life was unfair, but because fear had become his lifestyle. That realization changed something. Not instantly, not dramatically, but quietly. The next day, Marcus did something small. He created one design again. Just one, then another the next day, then another. Tiny steps. That's how change often begins. Not with giant motivation, with tiny acts of courage, repeated consistently. Weeks later, Marcus posted some of his work online. His hands shook before pressing publish. He almost deleted it 3 times, but he left it there. And then something unexpected happened. A cafe owner named Alina messaged him, asking for help creating a brand logo. It wasn't a huge opportunity, but it mattered because for the first time in years, Marcus felt alive. Not safe, alive. There's a difference. Safe feels comfortable. Alive feels terrifying and meaningful at the same time. Marcus began working on small projects after work. Late nights, early mornings. He was exhausted, but it was a different kind of exhaustion. The kind connected to purpose. And slowly, his confidence returned. Not because fear disappeared, because he stopped obeying it. That's the part nobody talks about. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving while fear screams at you to stop. Months passed. Marcus changed in ways even his friends noticed. He laughed more, spoke differently, walked differently. There was light in his eyes again, not because life became easy, because he finally stopped hiding from it. One evening, Marcus sat alone in his apartment, thinking about the past few years, and he realized something powerful. The comfort zone had cost him more than money. It had cost him time, energy, identity, possibilities, moments he would never get back. That realization hurt deeply, but it also woke him up completely. Because the truth is this: your comfort zone does not destroy your future overnight. It destroys it quietly by convincing you that staying the same is safer than growing, by making you believe that fear is wisdom, by turning your potential into postponed dreams. You don't notice it at first. That's what makes it dangerous. Days become months, months become years, and suddenly you wake up wondering where your life went, wondering why you feel empty despite doing everything right, wondering why your soul feels disconnected from the life you built. Marcus eventually left his job, not recklessly, not impulsively, but intentionally. His business grew slowly. There were failures, stress, moments of doubt, but even during hard times, he felt something he had not felt in years. Pride, because even when he failed, at least he was finally moving, finally living honestly, finally becoming the person he abandoned years ago. One afternoon, Marcus visited Naomi again. This time, she noticed something different immediately. "You look lighter," she said. Marcus smiled quietly, because he understood what she meant. The heaviness was gone. Not completely, but enough to breathe again, enough to hope again, enough to believe his future did not have to look like his past. Before leaving, Naomi hugged him tightly and whispered something he would never forget. "I'm glad you found yourself before life passed you by." That sentence stayed with him for weeks, because many people never do. Many people spend their entire lives trapped inside invisible cages built from fear and routine. They survive, but they never truly arrive. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe your comfort zone looks peaceful from the outside. Maybe everyone thinks you're doing fine. Maybe you even convinced yourself for a while But deep down, you feel it, that quiet frustration, that buried potential, that painful feeling that you are capable of more, but terrified to move. And listen carefully. Your future is not destroyed by one big mistake. It is destroyed by thousands of small moments where fear makes your decisions for you. Every dream delayed, every opportunity avoided, every excuse repeated until it sounds like truth. That's how people disappear inside ordinary lives they never wanted. But the beautiful thing is this: it's not too late. Not yet. You can still choose differently. You can still take one small, uncomfortable step. You can still become someone you are proud of. Not overnight, not perfectly, but gradually. Life changes quietly before it changes loudly. And sometimes the smallest decision, saying yes, trying again, starting scared, is the moment your real life finally begins. If this felt like your story, subscribe for more.